And here we are. We sliding in from the left, sliding in from the right. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We are now, let's see if I can get this to do something completely different now. Okay, let's try this. How about that? All right. So let's get this all squared away for you here so that we can begin our process of talking about Command 101. And I always want to say something different here. Offers and commissions. I don't know why there's other words that keep popping into my head when I think about this, but it's offers and commissions. That's what we're working on. So let me go ahead and save some stuff here, get some stuff out of the way. We'll do that. We'll go there. Take this. Oh my gosh, I thought I was ready. Turns out I wasn't ready. So hang in there. 1 second. There we go. Now I think we've got the screen that I'm looking for. Yay! So glad to have you here. I'm Robert. And as I get the last couple things said, I probably should have done this before we started. But, what are you going to do? We are going to be talking about Command 101 here today. And it is the offers and commissions part of this last week of Command 101. And then at 3 o'clock today, we got a special one for you. We're going to be doing PC productivity. Really. I should just go ahead and restart this whole thing. Anyways, welcome. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off by going into Command here, and we're going to create ourselves a new transaction. And how do we do that, everyone? Say it at once with me. From the contacts. That's right. We always start from the contacts area. So let's come into contacts and we'll find ourselves a contact to create an opportunity for. And that contact is going to be our favorite little demo contact person, Jackie Astuto. So we're going to open up Jackie here. And as always, little tidbits, little pieces for you. Remember, when we're creating an opportunity, we always use a person as the contact, and the contact name is always a person. That's why when you're creating a contact, it says full name. Doesn't say business, doesn't say husbands and wives and partners and things like that. It says full name, one name, person, not a place. So that makes it easier for the documentation process. Okay, so now that we've got our person in place here, we're going to go to opportunities on the right. We're going to create a new opportunity. All of this is what we've done all month, by the way. We've gone through this whole process all month. So we're starting back at the beginning of the month and recapping right to the end. So we go to the opportunity type. Let's go ahead and create a listing. We have the who, Jackie Astuto. We have the what, it's a listing. Now we need the where. Main Street in Epping, New Hampshire, which is my favorite little spot here. So now that we have the who, the what, and the where, we can put our commission rate in here and we can go ahead and create this wonderful little opportunity. So now we have our opportunity. Always with the opportunity, always without fail, as in always, we will always create the listing or add the listing from the select from listings dialog. And that will be the 123 Main Street, of course, in Epping, New Hampshire. Oh yeah, probably want to search all listings. There we go. We'll select that listing. That will load up into this. That will push to command, push to DocuSign, push to .loop, everywhere. We'll come into the documents area, select our document checklist, create the checklist, add of all of our documents from our transaction, which is going to be in DocuSign. So I'm whipping through all the stuff that we've done all month long, right? So here is our documents. We got them all signed. We come back to command. We bring them all back in here by pulling them in from command, and we are in good shape. Okay, now is when we start to talk about moving on to the offers and commissions. So all of that stuff is what we did all month long, getting ready to get to this point here. Once we get here, we're going to completely slow down and recenter ourselves. We've done the documentation. We've done all of the DocuSign work. We've got all of our paperwork ready to go. We've come up on the closing date and we're ready to make this happen. I have told you over and over and over about the listing information that we add up here underneath the opportunity name. We've referenced this every single week. We talk about making sure that you add the listing here. So when you add the listing here, this will push it into the commissions tab. Some of you have brought to my attention that sometimes, and this is very, very much the case, where there is no listing because maybe it's a non-MLS. Okay? So how do you fix this? If you're looking at this button, we'll go back to the details tab. How do you fix this where there's no MLS because it's a non-MLS, but you do in fact have a property, and that property address is here on the details tab of the opportunity. If you don't have an MLS, let me go ahead and remove the MLS information. I'll remove it from the listing. I'll remove the listing. This is an MLS one, but I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to take the property, which is now empty, by the way. There's no property information here. And instead of searching for a listing, because it's non-MLS, I'm going to come into the property search and I'm going to search for 123 Main Street, Epping, New Hampshire. And I'm going to put the property address into where the listing was. So I'll hit save. And when I do that, there's the property address. And look what it does. In the spot for where the listing would go, we now have a property address. So what is that going to do for us later? We'll find out. So let's go now to the offers and commissions. And this is the purpose of today's class. We are going to take a moment and go over the offer portion of the steps, and then we're going to go for the commissions area. Let me be very clear. Most of you, by the time that you are ready to submit for your commissions, you're done with the offers. The offers are happening so fast, and the offer portion of this little step here, offers and commissions, is for those people, for those agents that want to create an offer in the command system. It is not a requirement in terms of giving your sellers this offer. It is not a requirement in terms of making it so that it becomes a deliverable. It is required to go through the steps of the offer in order to manage your commission, though. You can't get past this point unless you manage the offer first. So do you want an offer in there? Maybe not. Maybe you're not interested in doing that. But what you do need to do is actually fill out the offer area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly show you that the offers can be filled out rapidly. Let's call it what it is. Let's get it out of the way so that we can get to the commissions area. So when we hit the offer and commissions tab, we have no offers in the deal so far. So we're going to click on add new offer. The new offer version is going to give it an initial name of initial offer. And trust me, if you're already past this step, this is just formality at this point. So we'll go ahead and create that initial offer. In the initial offer, there are 4 steps: the offer itself, the parties involved, the terms of the offer, and an agent analysis. Again, remember, this is a tool that you can use to create a nicely drafted offer for your clients. We're going to skip all that. Version name, offer date, close date is something we need to put in here. So the close date is what we want to add. So let's say the close date is going to be the 8th. Just put a date in there. I'm putting in a date. You're going to put in the closing date. So I'll come over here to parties. And in the parties area, we do have some required information. In this case, because it is a listing, my seller information is already added. But in the buyer information, you do need to put in the buyer's name and the associate's name who is representing them. Notice that it's a name. We need a name for both of those, but that's it. So we're going to come over here and we're going to say Bill Buyer for the name of the buyer party. And in the representation, we're going to say Bill's agent. All right. Now, obviously, you're going to put some real information in here. I don't want it to be completely garbage, but this is what you're going to use. Then we're going to click on terms. Now, remember, the terms are designed so that you can present this to your seller. You do not need to fill this out, but you will need one piece of information. You're going to need the finance amount or the total sales price. And why I say you're going to need the finance amount is because the sales price right now is 0, and that's a calculated field. I can't click in there to make any edits. So I'm going to go back to the finance price or the finance amount, and I'm going to put in the amount financed for this house. And that way the sales price loads up. Do you need the cash terms, the earnest amount? Do you need all this? Remember, I am just boogieing through the offer because I have found, and I'll be totally honest with you, most agents are way past this part of the deal when they're trying to get to the commissions tab. If you want to slow down on this particular part and learn how to use this, remember there are several offer and commission videos that I've done in the past where you can actually kind of go through this part and we discuss every one of these boxes in detail. But I've kind of learned that most people are not interested in this. So that's why I'm hustling through this. So now we have a finance amount and we have a sales price, $450. That's what we're going to be putting in for the commissions. Okay. So we'll come down to the bottom here. We don't need the rest of this stuff here, and we can click on agent analysis. All this page does is give you a place where you can write pros about the current offer, cons about the current offer, and a summary of that offer for, in this case, your seller. Okay. Don't need it because we're not actually going to deliver an offer. So I'll click save. Magical. Now we're done. So we put the minimum amount of information into the offer portion of creating an offer. And now we are on the basically the page that allows us to get to the commissions. And as a matter of fact, one step away from managing our commissions. So here is the offer. Just to review, bill buyer, bill's agent, that is who the offer is from. The buyer is pre-approved. We did not put those down as qualifications. All we had was the number 450. Everything else is transactional and took place outside of here. So now we're ready to go and submit for our commissions. Well, how do we submit? We have to accept the offer. So we'll click on the accept offer button, and the offer is now accepted and the commission status is set to open. And now we can manage our commissions. On the white box to the right of change response, we can manage our commissions. And that's what we're looking at here today. So we're going to click on manage commissions. And here is what you've been looking for. Okay. Now, this particular page is pretty much, it's good to go if it's just you on the deal. If it's you're the agent and you are submitting commissions for yourself only, you're done. There's one that we have to change the contract date here, and that I'll deal with in just a moment because it's in red. But our listing, which wasn't a listing because it's 123 Main Street in Epping, this is not an MLS listing. This is just an address. Our listing has been added. We are in good shape and we're ready to go. The only thing that we want to do is go down through here and make sure everything's right. So for a moment, for this first portion, we're going to make the assumption that this agent, Robert Vincent, is the only agent on the deal. We see a sales price of $450,000, a commission rate of 3%. That was when we created the opportunity. We see commission of $13,500 with a unit of 1. We're going to pay attention to that unit of 1 because that is a very, very important number to understand about this transaction if there are splits. But the unit is 1 there. We have a contract date, which we have to edit. We have a closed date, and we do not have an ID number yet, an account ID number for this transaction. That will happen when we submit it, but we need to change the contract date. So to edit the contract date, we click the Edit General Information button. When we click the General Information button, we can see that we have options to edit the sales price, the commission rate, the total commission is calculated. We cannot change the total units. And here it says all transactions count as one total unit. This can be divided amongst agents in the payments section, but there is always a number of 1. Think of it as 100% of the deal goes to one agent if only one agent is on the transaction. Now, in the contract date, there's the blank value that's correlating to the red number that we see over here. So we'll go ahead and put a contract date. This is not the closing date. This is the contract date, the date that the house went under contract. So let's say the house went under contract. We're looking at a 4/8 closing. So let's say I'll just throw in the 4th of March. So once I'm done with this, that's the only information available in the general information section. I'll click Save Changes. So now my contract date is good. I've got everything I need. I need nothing more if I'm doing it as a single agent. And here on the right-hand side is a summary of the actions. Pay to office. On the 13.5, we have a 35.10. We have an associate royalty of 8.10, company commission of 2,700. Any additional deductions, nonprofits, none of that is there. We have pay to agent, 99.90, and there is no other splits or anything like that. And this is the total for Robert Vincent of 99.90. There's only one agent on the deal, and one agent takes 100% of the deal. All right. Now, what you see below, you may have noticed that there's some other stuff down here. But let's just remember that when we are dealing with a single agent on the transaction, this is it. There's nothing else to worry about. Now, in the payment section down below, let me scroll down so that we can put that at the top of the screen and start talking about the payment section. In the payment section, there is a breakdown for the currently logged in user. In this case, Robert Vincent is the agent here. This is the breakdown that kind of correlates to what we saw at the top, but it's a more detailed breakdown, including any deductions, kids cares, kids can, all these different things. This is showing us also our cap, actual, and balance. One thing to remember about this is not updated on this transaction. So the numbers that we have in this transaction do not change the values here. This is a monthly update based on the numbers that are submitted for transmittal. So remember, this is not going to happen right now. It's not going to pop those numbers in there and the charts aren't going to change. So just don't freak out. It's not broken. It's just that it does not update on this transaction. It updates on when we get the numbers in and the cycle, kind of the values are added to the system. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're going to do here is we're going to see that in the payment area at the top of this screen, we have right next to the word payment, we have add another agent, add a co-broker, or edit agent payment. Okay, so let's give you a scenario here. You are a solo agent and there are no splits on the deal. There's no referrals on the deal. There's nothing else. You are good to go here. You can click the submit button. Unless you want to make any deductions, you can click the submit button. If you wanted to make some deductions and if you wanted to make some donations and you wanted to change those values for you as a solo agent on the deal, you can click the Edit Agent Payment button. And when you click this, you can see here that all the information we just went over, you have the associate royalty, the company commission. Down in the bottom, you have a bold scholarship donation box, nonprofit deductions. You have KW Cares, KW Kids Can. So you have all of these options. At the very bottom of that, we increase some of the things that you can do in this transaction. And it's under the extra payment options. Here, we see that there's a statement that says referrals, bonuses, deductions, and concessions. So there's a box here at the very bottom of the edit agent payment that allows us to do referrals, bonuses, deductions, and concessions. So before I open this box, let me explain a couple things here. When we talk about these referrals, what we're saying here is that of the money that is coming to you, and remember, we're talking about 100% of the 3% because we're talking about 100% of the commission, of which is 3%. If you're going to give some of that as a referral, this is where you would come in and edit that value. I'll say it again. To add a referral, you're going to edit the agent payment, and under extra payment options, you're going to come down here, click add item, and select Referrals. To add bonuses, deductions, or other concessions, you will also click this Add Item button. So when we click the Add Item button, it says, what is the type of additional element? So you have to choose a drop-down: bonus, concession, deduction, inside referral, outside referral. So what is an inside referral? An inside referral refers specifically to a KW agent who referred this contact to you, and you're going to pay them because we're in the same market center. We're essentially connected, okay? So an inside referral, when we click on that, it's going to say to you, what is the agent name? And you're going to need to search for that name. So let's say that agent is, who should I give? Okay, well, we can do Alice. We'll put in Alice's name here, and we see Alice Kubaki. Notice that it's only pulling Alice Kubaki. It's not pulling every Alice across the entire country, because this is for our market center. This is inside our market center. So if I put in Sue Doyle, S-U-E, and I can see here, Sue Doyle. There's a bunch of Sues all over the United States, right? But it's just looking for Sue Doyle. So it's an inside agent referral, somebody within our organization locally. But notice now that I'll choose Sue here. So Alice, I've given you a bunch of referrals. We'll do Sue this time. So on the amount side here, we need to calculate that. Now, if you've agreed to an amount, that's what you would put here. So if you've already agreed to an amount, then you put that number here. So let's say that that number is $500. Okay. We'll go ahead and click Add. So now you'll notice that I now have an inside referral value inside my agent payment dialog of -500, and it has dropped my net to agent. And when I'm finished here, it'll calculate it out and it will adjust that net to agent. Okay. Now let's say here's a new scenario. You're an agent here at the Market Center 463, and the referral came to you from another agent that was not within the Market Center here. Okay, no problem. We're going to click Add Item. And this time, again, we're going to go and choose the drop down, and we're going to choose Outside Referral. Now notice that when we see Outside Referral, we have that option here. It's Outside Referral. It's asking for the referral percentage. Let's say that it's going to be 2%. And that's $270 of the $13,000 or the $9,000, whatever you want to call it, the commission that we're pulling. We will need the tax ID type, either an EIN, an employee identification number, or a social security number, and you will need that number to be entered right here. So make sure that you add this information, otherwise this person's not going to get paid, and the Market Center is going to be mad at you, because we want to make sure that these people get paid. The broker's company name has an asterisk. You will need that. And then you will either need the agent name. This is not a drop down for searching because this is outside of the Market Center. You'll need the address with the phone number. Notice that the email is optional, but if you have that, please be sure to enter it. Okay. Now I'm not going to complete this information here because I don't have that kind of information, but notice that an outside referral uses a tax ID number, whereas if I switch over here just to show you an inside referral, you just drop down and search for the agent. Okay. So you're taking your portion of this deal and you are giving some of that directly to the referring agent. Okay. I'm going to leave in the inside referral here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove, let's see, no, there it is, 500 for Sue. We'll leave that there. Okay. So now what we see is if I I close that dialog box, now we have Sue Doyle's name up here on the top right as a pay to agent, $500. If we come down into the breakdown section, we will again see inside referrals, Sue Doyle, $500. So we've correctly identified by editing the agent payment for an inside or outside referral. So what is this? What is add another agent and add co-broker payment? So when we think about what we can do with the add another agent, what we're talking about is splitting the deal. Not a referral fee, we're talking about splitting the deal. Now the deal is at a value of 1.0 or 100%. What we're talking about here is another agent at the Market Center. add another agent is for us here. So if I click this button in the search dialog box, guess what? It's searching for somebody here at the market center. Add another agent is for an agent that you're splitting it with here at the market center. Now, when we come down through here, we're going to need to specify how much of the deal we're splitting with this agent. We will need to put in a unit value. So remember, we have a unit value of 1. So if we're going to split it 50-50, the unit value is 0.5 for Alice. And when we do that, we can click the Calculate Commission button, and that now calculates the commissions. Now, this is where people get confused because we just said we're splitting this deal with Alice at half of the deal, and it comes up with $67.50. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. I'm not going to make any of the changes. We're going to come back to this dialog box, but I'm just going to go ahead and save the changes because I want to show you something. Right now, I've got, if I scroll down into the payment area, I have myself first because that's what we started with. And that has my little inside referral for Sue Doyle here. And if I go down a little bit further, you'll see that Alice Kubacki is now listed as another agent because I'm doing a split. And Alice is getting 1/2 of the deal, agent units. Now, if I was to try and hit submit here, let's go ahead and hit the submit button. And it says, no. Excess agent commission of $67.50. Total agent commissions do not equal the total commission for the property. There's a remaining unit balance of -5 or -0.5, sorry. Agent unit values must total 1. Why? Because here, when we started talking about this at this section here, the default payment for Robert Vincent is agent units of 1. And we added in Alice with an agent unit of 0.5. We are over. We are really exceeding the total units available. So we have to edit somewhere. Something has to change. And the number that's wrong is the gross commission is still going to 100% to Robert, and it needs to be split. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit Agent Payments for Robert, not Alice, because Alice is correctly set at half of the deal. The incorrect one is me because it still says that I have 100% of the deal. So I'll click Agent Payment for Robert, come in here and put in a 0.5, calculate the commission. It drops it to the right number, save those changes. And now I'm not going to hit submit here because if I did that, everything on this page is actually perfectly correct for the statements that are being made. So it would submit it to the market center. And I don't want to do that right now. Okay. I want to continue with the discussion about Alice. So I'm going to come down to Alice's section here. Now remember, we're good on the 0.5% or half a unit for Robert, and we are good on half a unit for Alice. So we're splitting it 50-50. Perfect. But remember, when we were looking at Robert, we also had all of those other things where we had the royalties, we had the commissions, we had E&O, Bold, KW Cares, KW Kids Can. Because we split it with Alice, we have the ability to enter Alice's requested deductions, any of her donations, anything that we are associating with Alice's part of the monies, we can enter those values for her on her behalf so that those deductions and donations come out. So when you're doing a split, you're essentially responsible for making sure that Alice has the right amount of donations and deductions and information taken out should she request it. So you'll want to make sure you talk to the partnering agent and find out exactly what they want based on these options. And in the case of having them have requests like that, you can edit the agent payment for Alice and you can make those deductions just as you made on your own. Now let's go all the way to the bottom of the screen. Notice that Alice also has an extra payment options dialog, which means Alice can also send money out for a referral for her portion of the split. She can also do bonuses, deductions, and concessions. All of those things that are available for you on your side of the deal or your part of the deal, are also available for Alice as a split. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to this because, for example, if I go into Alice's referrals and I add a referral to Sue Doyle, it's coming from Alice's portion of the monies. So who is the person paying for the referral? Are you guys splitting it? So you want to make sure that you put the correct percentages or correct numbers in both sides. Are you guys just combining it and saying one person is going to pay for it out of their pocket, if you will, and make it happen that way? So make sure that you understand that each of the agents that are attached to this deal before you submit have the option of having the referral values added here. So let's go ahead and save the changes here, and let's look at the final numbers for each person at the very top of the page. Notice that Robert Vincent here is $4,495. Alice is $5,400, and Sue Doyle is $500. So Sue Doyle's numbers are coming out of Robert's numbers. There you go. Piece of cake. Okay. So everything is being displayed for you. Everything shows you where the monies are coming from, and it's working out pretty good. Okay. Now the last thing on this page is the add co-broker. So everything that we've been talking about so far has been, we as the agent have an inside referral for somebody in the market center or somebody outside the market center where we have to add in their tax ID number. We also have the ability to split using add another agent. So somebody within the market center, we're splitting the numbers with, and each of those people, each of those two agents, myself and another agent, can be combining a split for any referrals or not. Whichever way you want to do it. But what happens if we are splitting the deal with somebody outside the market center? I'm not talking about a referral fee. We're talking about a split or a payment due to an outside broker. That's where the co-broke payment comes in. Now, before I do this, I'm going to simplify things up a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Alice off the deal. Sorry, Alice. And I'm going to come back up here. And by the way, I took Alice off the deal and the units are now out of whack again because her half of 100%, 50%, whatever you want to call it. Her half is no longer listed here. So we're out of wonk. So we need to edit the agent payment for Robert to return the agent units to 1, recalculate the commission, save the changes. Good to go. Sue Doyle is on it still at the 500. There's the 94.90. We're good to go. Okay. Now let's talk about one agent, Robert Vincent, who is working with a co-broke outside of KW. And really, this is always outside of our market center. It does not mean that they're outside of Keller Williams, the corporation. It means that they're outside the market center. So we'll click on Add Co-Broke Payment. And in every way, it looks like a referral. It looks just like a referral. We have a commission rate. We have an amount, a tax ID number, and a tax ID number and a tax ID type. Then we have a company name, a pay to, and an agent name. These are absolutely required. If you cannot get this information, they basically can't get paid. Let Tristan or Kaylee at the market center know if you need help finding this information. They have some of it. They deal with a lot of outside brokers, so they may actually have this information already ready for you, and you can just tap into it, okay? The address here is obviously for the address. Then we have a phone number and an optional for email, but once again, same thing. If you have an email, put that in there. It just makes everyone's life a little bit easier. You want these people to get paid properly. Make sure that you have the correct information. That's all you need on a co-broke. There's no options for deductions. There's no options for any of the referrals for them and all that. That's something where you're just writing them a check. Okay? So you're not doing a split in the system. You're just saying you're writing a check. So let's go ahead and say in here that the commission is going to be 5% or something like that. Well, it's maybe a little high. So let's say do 1%. 1%. And the tax ID number, I'm going to do I don't know. I forget how many numbers it is. for the tax ID. Company name is going to be, we'll say with it's something LLC. Okay. Pay to is going to be, and remember, so the company, the name, pay to, and the agent name. Are we paying it to the agent? Are we paying it to the brokerage? So this is the broker name, and the agent is going to be Billy Squire. All right. Address is going to be 123 Main Street, which happens to be the same address as the darn thing. Well, we'll do Mass Road. Nice, easy enough. Phone number 603-555-1212. All right, we'll save the changes. Forgot the ID. Look at that. It won't let me out. Save it. There it is. Boom, boom. So now we have over on the right-hand side here, we have a breakdown with a co-broker payment of $45.50. Okay. So now we see all of the breakdowns. The co-broke payment over on the left here is not listed. If you'll notice here, you got the royalties, company commissions, all that stuff. The co-broke sits above that and sits right here. Totally separate. Okay. So, and by the way, here is the co-broke information right here. It sits above the payment and it's right here. Lovely. All right. So key things that I want you to take away from this. This is a short class because as you can see, there's not much more to do here. If you have multiple agents, make sure you do your math right. Get your percentages correct on the 1 unit total. Referrals inside or out go into the edit agent payment area. Edit agent payment area. Splits go on add another agent, where you can also specify referrals as well. Co-brokes go here under add a co-broke, and the co-broke information will be listed as this. And then finally, when you're done, you'll review everything in the summary area and click submit as needed. You can also add a note to your market center administrators. So this is going to the administrators. This is going to Kaylee or it's going to Tristan. So remember, this is not going for compliance. We're done with compliance. Hopefully you've completed the compliance area, but this is going for payments. So this is going to the MCAs. So make sure that you understand that the notes here that you put in, notice that there's no, when you do an @ here, it's not like doing compliance when we do notifications in the documents area. This is not going to go to somebody. It's going specifically to the MCAs. So, hey, this is a test. Please do not pay me. You think they'd pay me anyway? Save the changes. All right. And then the final thing is going ahead and hitting submit. Now, let's talk about what happens if you make a mistake. What happens if you go back through this after you've hit the submit button and you're like, I should really undo this. So you're going to see an option to terminate the submission. And what I want to be very, very clear here is that your best bet is to not terminate your commission request. In most cases, what you really need to do is make a little fix or an adjustment here, right? What you're saying is an oopsie, I need to make a change. Please, please, please just reach out to compliance immediately when you have that knowledge that something is wrong and talk to them. In most cases, they can work with you behind the scenes, make the changes, and still process this commission sheet. If you terminate the commission sheet here, you're essentially saying throw it away. That is a pain for everyone. Talk to Tristan, talk to Kaylee, and make sure that termination is the right option before just terminating it because of an issue in some of the details here. Basically, simply put, don't terminate it unless you've talked to Kaylee or Tristan first and ask them what the best course of action is. They are your best friends. They will work with you. I guarantee you they'll bend over backwards to make this work right, and they will give you the best advice on whether or not you should terminate or just request that they make some changes or return it back to you for editing. Okay. So there you go. If you need to reach out to Kaylee or Tristan, remember they should be in your database. And if they are not in your database, let me know. Send me an email at command@kwclm. And what I can do from this interface right here, from my contact screen, I can go down and I can create for you all of the members of the Market Center here, all of our leadership. I have them all in here, alphabetized with their roles, their emails, and their phone numbers. And all I have to do is send you by clicking this button and saying, share a copy to your name. So you give me your name and I will do that in this box and I will send it out so that you can have a copy of everyone in the Market Center. That is all 23 of us, all 23 of the leadership here. And you have it in your database ready to go. Then you can tag it and create a nice little view for it if you'd like. Okay. So that's going to do it for now. At 3 o'clock today, we got the kind of that cool special class I've been working on for PC productivity tips. So stick around for that. Hope you guys have a good one. Looks like we are done here. So I'm going to go ahead and say we'll see you guys in about an hour.